Really? So why?
Hey, Proof's here. What's up, Proof?
Okay, so now we transition from Brexit, EU, Scotland into surf.
Yes. Good transition.
Thank you, Forehead Fish. Appreciate your input.
Anytime, bro.
Proof, are you playing the drums?
I'm assuming you guys can hear me.
Yo,
It's
what's
a
up?
hand pan, like a steel drum. They are really fun to play. I highly recommend them.
But were you playing it yourself?
Man, I think I hear people, and I went through the permissions, and I swear I said it so that nobody else should be heard. I don't get how Forehead Fish it could possibly talk right
Yeah,
now. Are you a wizard?
we were talking about Brexit. You know, some things just go above Discord. You know, can't stop it.
I think we can all turn on our own permissions if we wish to.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, I think mods and stuff have the ability to mute people. So ideally, if a mod catches someone like coughing or whatever, if you can just mute them real quick, that'd be very helpful. All right, well, cool. It's 10:01, 9:01 Pacific, and then whatever it is in your time zone. And it's Valentine's Day. It could have been my birthday. Tomorrow could be my birthday. Yesterday could have been my birthday. A week ago could have been my birthday. A month from now could be my birthday. Maybe some of you guys have some birthdays going on. If you do, happy birthday. It's really good to be here. To be honest, I'm in a fantastic mood. I feel really energized about everything our community is doing and the trajectory of the project. And I have a lot of exciting stuff to share with you guys tonight, and a lot of people to kind of showcase for the community who might not be aware of just some of the really awesome things that have been going on behind the scenes. So that's what we're going to be going through tonight. And once again, let me let me reference my announcement so I can see what the agenda was. And if you guys have any questions, I'll probably literally go through every single question that is left in the AMA questions channel. Even if you don't want to leave a question, please go through there and look at your favorite ones and use the boost emoji. I think, is that what I said? Because I don't see anybody doing it. What did I announce? Boost emoji. Yeah, it's the rocket surfboard. So go in there and just put, the boost emoji on your favorite ones, and we're going to give the 5 most voted questions a towel once that goes live after this ridiculous insanity with gas on the Ethereum network. So I guess it's kind of cooling down a little bit, but it really doesn't make sense. Like the initial amount of towels that we have, I think it would only be like a quarter of a surf going to each towel per day. So it doesn't make any sense at all to overpay for gas. They're not going to be that lucrative until surf price starts going up, but I think it's going to happen pretty soon. And then the dynamics around all of this are going to get very interesting. So definitely go through the questions. Make sure you ask some if you have any, even if it's like harsh criticism. That's fine. We're about transparency here, so we'll talk through it and figure it out. So let's see what I said. Towel launch party. So no towel launch party. We'll just have one in general or whatever tomorrow when that actually happens. Yeah, I wonder if there's anything to talk about with towels right now. I guess one change I want to point out, which was in the announcement, but I want to say it to you guys here, is that the fee to unstake the towel, originally it was you had to like pay that amount in Surf, but now it's just a raw Ethereum amount that you send. And then there's a function behind the scenes. It's just called disperse ETH, and it will be callable from Atlantis Core. And so you'll basically earn a bunch of Surf if you're the first person to call this function when the time is right. And so all of the ETH in the beach contract will then just buy Surf from the market. And then we're using the golden ratio split again with this. So 61.8% will go to an external contract. And in the announcement, I actually haven't had time to correct this, but Soldev had to correct me on this one. We can't send it directly to Surfstacker, but it's going to go to Restacker, which is going to feed Surfstacker. But so I think we're just going to start by sending it to the Whirlpool until Surfstacker Lite, Restacker, and then his project, which we're doing through the Surf Launchpad, which I'm going to talk to you about tonight, is going live. That should be starting this week to roll some of those products out. So it's going to be really exciting. But basically the Surfstacker line is going to wake up big time. Surfstacker Lite is going to be really cool, and I'm going to give you guys the specifics of that tonight. And then we have this Surf Launchpad project that is directly feeding this Restacker contract. So there's going to be a lot moving through these stackers, and it'll be pretty interesting. But I would say that probably just hold off on going into the existing Surf Stacker right now. Wait for the Surfstacker Lite, and it's fine because it'll push the first Surfstacker forward. But it's just going to be nicer because we're paying out divs to everyone in line. So it's not quite as daunting to like be in the very back of the line because you're still earning divs even while you're just waiting. So by the time you're at the front of the line, there might not be much left that you need. So it's kind of a cool system, and it will directly benefit the original Surfstacker. So like no one's getting left behind. Everyone in this current Surfstacker line, I imagine, is going to make it through just fine. But you'll probably make it through more quickly if you want to do it again by just waiting for Surfstacker Lite. So that's all coming very, very soon. And I'm pretty excited just to see how the interaction with the unstaking fee for the towels is actually going to work out with the market, because basically what we're doing is we're taking a flat 1,000 Surf ETH LP tokens from the community liquidity, which actually just surpassed 5,000 today, and it's a ton. It's like 200 Ethereum worth of just unstaking fees that we're sitting on as a community, that I'm also going to be explaining how we're going to be making some investments very soon with that, which are, is obviously going to further our goals with the decentralized hedge fund. So, oh man, shoot, I don't know what I was saying right before what I just said about the decentralized hedge fund. Someone remind me in general. All right, no one's typing. For attendees, nice. I was not talking about the EU. I know I was talking about Surf Stacker. Yeah. And then I made it to, man, I'm just like so excited. There's so many things to share with you guys tonight. My mind is all over the place with my order of operations here. Oh yeah, the issues with the beach payout, calling it. So the Atlantis Core integration, and the market, right, with the towels. There we go. I figured it out. We're pricing the towels so there's 2 liquidity pools, and we're setting these up on SushiSwap. It won't be on Uniswap. So there will be a towel surf pool and a towel ETH pool. And what we're doing for that is we're just taking 1,000 of the surf ETH LPs from Uniswap that we have. We're removing the liquidity, backing those, and whatever amount of Ethereum there is going to be the initial seed liquidity in the towel Ethereum pool, and that will be matched against 100 towels. And then whatever amount of surf we removed from those 1,000 LP tokens is going to back 100 towels in the towel surf pool. So the towels are actually going to have a very high valuation right off the bat, but the only way for anybody to recognize that actual price by selling is to unstake and directly benefit us by leaving our community Ethereum to buy surf with. So they either have to be patient or directly benefit us. And I'm actually surprised that more airdrops or claim drops haven't really had that approach, because they just make it too easy for someone to come in, not care about the project at all, take their free thing, instantly dump it. And it's like, hey, thanks for the $50, $500, $3,000. Like, it's just kind of crazy that money is just sort of freely given away, instead of forcing these people to like make up their own mind on it in terms of if they actually want to hold it as an investment. I don't think that they should be rewarded for not even taking a look at the project. That's a ton of money. So either be patient, or if you want to cash out, then you got to pay us a little bit to cash out. But that's on you, man. Like, we're all down to be patient. So we're basically trying to like help train people's minds to think in a more sustainable way long term. And the reality is, this is a very dangerous space. There's a lot of bad actors, there's a lot of predators, and there's just a lot of ways that even teams with great intentions can mess up, and a lot of things can go south. And it's I don't know, I just think in general we need to be thinking very long term, because crypto is just going to continue to go up. There's going to be peaks and valleys over the years, but the trend is up and to the right, and I think it's going to be that way for the foreseeable future. And it's just critical that we don't lose any amount of the precious crypto that we have right now. I mean, we don't know how much $100 in crypto right now could be worth in a decade, especially leverage the right way or compounding the right way in the right investments that are actually safe, and you don't have to worry about losing everything in a nanosecond. So we're trying to reinforce those quality principles here, and I think it's going to lead to some really awesome achievements together as a community, and a lot more balance in our lives are are going to be possible than I think ever before, which is really exciting to me because that's something I've always struggled with. So, towel launch party and overview of the amazing community-driven landing page project. So, in the announcement, there's that URL. It's surffinance.webflow.io. We're going to be integrating this into the official surf.finance domain and website. We actually might just make this the homepage and move the existing website to another subdomain like dashboard.surffinance or something like that. I don't know. And then we basically just now have this awesome informational overview of the project, which I know was a major pain point for us for a long time. And the reality is it was, I know we need these things. There's just a limited amount of time. And at the end of the day, what needed to happen was for community members to step up. And it's been actually overwhelming in such a positive way to see the response and the number of people that have stepped up. And I want to kind of highlight some of those people and talk about what they're doing with this, because these are like the heroes of the community that if you believe in surf for any reason, or are invested in it and you want it to go up, like these are the sorts of people that are actively doing something to increase the value of your investment. So I think it's worth paying attention to them and, giving them some thumbs up and appreciation when you think about it. Because at the end of the day, like no one's like getting a salary or anything from this. This is primarily volunteer work. And hopefully I'm going to be able to hook up all of these people that are contributing like this from the swell once that goes live. But for now, it's just a complete love of the project and commitment to you guys and what we're trying to build here that they're putting in this time and effort. So it's really quite awesome. So at the head of kind of this landing page project, a lot of this really was coming from Waging Bull. I don't know if you guys have seen him typing around general and stuff, but he's someone that we as a community should feel just very thankful to have around. He has a ton of talent in a ton of different ways, and he's just a great guy. So for him to, he had been messaging me, I think, from the very first week that I was like reaching out to Beach Boys and stuff. And he's like, man, anything I can do to help surf. Like I have a web dev background and I feel like, I might be able to help with a dashboard. Like he's just been really wanting to dive in. And then he kind of realized that it was just, if he wanted to move forward with something, he could just go ahead and take the step and start the project. And that at the end of the day, it's just better for me to not have really any input on it at all. Like just go for it, make it your baby. And it's turned out amazing through, his efforts and then the help of a bunch of other people that I do want to specifically give a shout out to. And I have my list. Give me one moment. So we have like honestly, you guys need to go through this website because the combination of like graphic work, the content that we have, all the writing, just the infographics, the information that's there, how professionally it's presented. Like I had no involvement in this at all. Like this was just all of these community members putting their heads together. So we have Surf and Sam, who did a bunch of the content writing. I think actually all of it or most of it. CT636 has been putting together some really incredible infographics. He just finished a really cool timeline of the surf ecosystem all the way back to when we were launching in October, kind of showing the event and when the beaches closed and Surf Stacker launched and all of that, and kind of showing what's on the horizon. That could just be kind of a nice image that you can share around to, friends and family that might be on the fence with some of this, because I think once people realize like how easy it is to just add on to this ecosystem and just benefit everything else in it, the number of dApps that are going to be wanting to link up with us I think is going to be pretty massive over time. So hopefully that's something that makes it easier. So I love that guys like CT have just completely taken the initiative to put stuff like that together. So thank you, man. Yostari is obviously incredible. He puts together just the coolest charts. He like themes each chart, and it's mind blowing. He has his own channel. Make sure you guys check that out. It's the Yostari's Yard channel, and he's updating that once or twice a week with just kind of the breakdown of the important numbers in the surf ecosystem, the supply stats, the burn stats, uh, amounts in different dApps, and things like that. So it's very useful information. Like if you're trying to learn the surf ecosystem, um, you can't miss Yostari's charts. And I think a lot of that is also on this landing page. So I would start with the landing page no matter what. And if you're seeing new people come into the community and you've been around a while and you're trying to figure out the best way to help onboard these people, I would say for now, just direct them to the landing page and tell them that they can come back and ask any questions they still might have. And, if a bunch of people are asking the same questions, then we'll just add that info to the landing page. So hopefully just over time, there's like no questions that newcomers have unless they're just lazy and they're, intentionally trolling us, which is happening dozens to hundreds to thousands of times per day, it feels like. And then we have Switch, who has been working with Waging Bull, and I know CT, and doing a lot of the updates to the actual site itself. So thank you very much for that, man. And Golgotha has been just a crazy driving force. His energy is amazing, and he's just been giving some awesome insight and effort all over the place. So thank you for all of your support with these marketing efforts, man. So yeah, all of these guys, like they are going out of their way to increase the value of our investment at the end of the day, to help other people more quickly get up to speed with what's going on with our ecosystem. So these guys are legends, in my opinion, and I wouldn't get in fights with them or anything like that because I'm always going to side with them. So you just kind of need to know that. And then 40 till 5, has been making some incredible art and graphic work for us as well. I love that guy's creativity. He's always coming up with hilarious gifs and memes, and I don't know, he can like make me laugh and then just give me the right feel from something. So thank you for all your work, 240. Okay. So let's reveal the first Surf Launchpad project, which is going to be, I'm not going to like give an exact date on this, but we're basically just going to be deploying things as often as we can over the coming like days and weeks here, because we have a lot that we're sitting on and we're ready to deploy. Gas is obviously crazy. We don't want to do something where momentum is instantly killed. And for the most part, the more I'm thinking about the L2 stuff, I'm just not sold on anything. It just doesn't feel like the smart decision right now. I just still think we have to give all of that more time. I'm just hopeful that if other dApps decide to move off onto a layer 2, that we will just kind of have less congestion. And that's kind of an idea that Martyrs talked about. But it makes sense to me that could happen. So I say we wait it out a little bit and see if that's the case, because ETH is bae. So I just kind of want to chill on this main chain because we just have a complex ecosystem and it's not going to be simple to migrate. And I'll always try to make sure that everyone is made whole in any sort of migration and there's no issues with that. But it gets a lot harder to do when you're talking about something this big that we would have to move. So yeah, that's where my head is with that. But so this project is coming very soon. And basically, if you guys want to check this out right now, you can go to beta.ethpoly.com. And if a mod or someone that's kind of in the know on this wants to drop that URL in general, so people can hop over there. This is the completed project from SolDev. It is a very cool mixture of kind of the concept behind Hex, which grew into an absolutely massive market cap project, and kind of traditional pyramid curves, I guess. It's not so much about it being like a pyramid scheme at its core. It's just there's this like pyramid div curve basically that's used that's very similar to some of the hourglasses that a lot of us are used to from the past. But obviously there's like negative connotations with that. And I think of these things as like toxic reverse funnel. Nice. I think of these things as like high stakes poker games. And I'm someone that I'm just going to say every single time that code is king, and don't trust like the words coming out of my mouth. Like if I'm telling you that a contract is supposed to do something, I'm always going to recommend that you verify with your own eyes that the contract does the things that I claim that it does. And I know that very few people are actually going to take me up on that. But the sooner you just agree to doing that, I mean, one, you're going to open a lot of doors for yourself because it's an incredibly valuable skill at this point, to know anything about the blockchain, to potentially be able to read or write a little bit of Solidity, is very, very valuable in 2021. So if you're like bored or looking for skills or something, this is a great thing to figure out. But so in general, trust the code. I'm not going to sit here and tell you that like ETH Poly or Surf 3D, a similar DApp like that, where it's very obviously more of like a game to a certain degree, rather than where like the Whirlpool is like just this passive income machine. And something like ETH Poly has the potential to be that. Something like Surf 3D has the potential to be that. But it's just almost so experimental in nature that the people that are really going to be interested in something like this are, I've just kind of always called them OGs in my mind, like people that are, it's really not even like OG in the scheme of things. It's just like if you've been here for 3+ years and you've weathered, a really difficult bear market, and you kind of know the crazy games that get played, especially in the degen crypto space, where there's straight up rug pulls, there's thieves, developers that are just going around and stealing from the same communities over and over and over, and then there's just really smart guys that are making tons of money just through arbitrage bots, and they're completely smacking around the individual that is just doing manual trading or something, that some for whatever reason thinks they're going to beat these arb bots. But so I would just say it's a little bit more high stakes. If you can read code, if you can dive into the contract, I recommend doing that, and you're probably going to feel a lot more prepared to like at least come up with a great strategy for how you would approach a system like this. What's really cool about ETH Poly, besides being probably one of the most beautiful crypto UIs I've ever seen, is it's going to be splitting like half of the underlying developer fee. There's kind of some tokens that the developer starts with, but they're locked in. I have a PDF I'll be sharing as well. That's kind of the concept overview that you guys can go through. But basically, half of that developer fee is just going directly into Restacker, this contract that's going to be feeding Surfstacker and Surfstacker Lite. And uh, it can actually kind of cause this really crazy positive feedback loop between ETH Poly and then the Restacker contract and all the way down the line, throughout the whirlpool, because we'll probably at some point do something like create a Surf Poly liquidity pool on SushiSwap or Uniswap, and kind of create more arb opportunities that way. So it's a if it feels like it's a lot to absorb, I would probably say that you can like sit this out. This isn't necessarily like a surf ecosystem dApp, right? It is more than it looks like because of the Restacker connection under the hood. But you really can't go wrong just sitting in the whirlpool. If you look at the price of the LP tokens, like we're hitting all-time highs. They've paid out massive surf rewards over time while going up, and that trend, it's like designed to just continue that trend, and you just can't really go wrong with it. And at the end of the day, the vast majority of my holdings are in the whirlpool. I will probably throw some money at ETH Poly because I don't know how you could ignore a UI that's that sexy. But it's basically just going to be benefiting my primary whirlpool holding is the way I see it. So I'm stoked that we as a community basically get to market this thing. We get to show other people. We get to, like, this doesn't need to be like Surf 3D. This is like a brand new token. We can, pay some Telegram channels and stuff to make an announcement for this, or a pinned message, or maybe we do a quick AMA somewhere else and talk about how we're launching this thing. And I don't know, the sky's the limit. Like, we can talk about this on Biz, and there doesn't have to be a direct link to Surf. So it's just kind of a cool thing that we are going to consistently be releasing projects within our own ecosystem from our team, but then also like outside of the ecosystem, but in a way that still benefits our ecosystem. So no matter what, the goal is to just basically make the whirlpool indestructible, and it's just receiving more and more rewards from more and more revenue sources over time. It's a pretty simple concept. There's very few tokens that I'm aware of that are like really trying to do this at the scale we are, and I think are getting it right either. I still just crack up at our market cap because like we have significant returns just from being in the whirlpool for the last 3 months. I think everyone is like well over 100% APY. And if Surf goes up 10%, 50%, 200%, like that number is going to skyrocket for the people that had been holding for the 3 or 4 months. So I think it's like any day now. We also have a bunch of promotions that are going to be rolling out. I don't know if how many of you actually saw that in general yesterday. Let me see if it was pinned. Yes, so I said upcoming marketing events. We have some videos coming from a pro surfer. We have, I think Mr. T was trying to line up an interview between me and an Instagram influencer. I think that had close to 300,000 followers. We've lined up, we've lined up a video from 2 different popular YouTubers that many of you would likely know the name of. We're still trying to figure out when exactly we would want those to be released, because there is just a lot coming, and we're trying to like keep the momentum as smooth as possible as this really all starts coming out. So I'm not sure of the dates yet, but those will be exciting things to drop when that happens. Obviously, there's going to be a massive influx of sushi users, and it might not take a day. Um, it could take a month for all of those to get claimed. I really have no idea, but I guarantee you they will all get claimed because uh, unless there's a bunch locked in contracts, which I'm not totally sure about, but I think there was 21 or 22,000 eligible sushi wallets, and there's 4,415, I think, towels available for them to claim. So I would imagine that people are going to look and be like, oh, hey, towels are worth, enough to cover some gas or something, over time. At least it's free, so why wouldn't I get it? That's going to be up to us to get the message out, and then obviously the money that we're putting into the marketing that's coming up, which I will be continuing to touch on tonight as well. We have that Mark Cuban Surf Finance collection card that's going to be coming, which is going to be exciting. This ETH Poly DApp is a marketing opportunity for us, and this is gonna, I think, put us on the radar of a lot of people that might think surf is dead right now. They're just not really paying attention to us at all, which is fine. Like, we don't need to be mad at them or anything. We've just been building, and now it's time for us to we're trying to find the people that like want the long-term investment. They understand what a structurally sound system looks like, and basically just like, hey, just show them the light, and they just know to go towards the light, and they're good to go. So we're trying to find those people, and it'll take time, but I don't think it'll take that much time, to be honest. So Rip Jitters, was that him? And then what was next? So then I said the shenanigans from the best guerrilla marketing team on the planet. Yeah. I mean, I don't know if you guys even saw, like, on February 1st, we were the number one, like, most shilled coin on Biz, or maybe it was the day after. And that was, when our price popped 100% basically. And that was just, it's like a couple guys in the community that can basically just fire a bunch of people up and just target them, and or send them to kind of the right communities. And we're just getting better and better at like getting the correct message across of what we're building here, and not trying to be confrontational so much with people, because there's a lot of that, especially on Biz. But everybody's just trying to shill their coin, and so we're trying to like break through the noise and explain that they can literally be done playing that game if they just open their eyes and look at what's happening with the surf community. Because it's not about just me, it's not about just the system, it's about what's collectively happening. And it's basically inevitable that the talent and connections that are in this community are going to lead to something massive. So I'm very excited about that. I'm super fired up about all this stuff. I'm having great conversations with a lot of you, and getting a lot of the same feedback, back. So it's just been awesome for me to see. And so that's going to kind of transition to me into this next piece, which I'm not going to try to be too like preachy sounding, I guess, but I just kind of have been thinking through the project as a whole. So I listed that I would be talking about this thing, leaps of faith. Basically, when it comes to surf, like, this entire project was a leap of faith for me, a leap of faith in myself, basically having faith in myself, and just recognizing that I could pull this off, and I can potentially attract the right people that can help me pull this off. And I have to just stop making excuses. I mean, it's something I've been working through for well over a decade, just like a fear of failure and imposter syndrome and all sorts of things. And I don't know. I reached this point where I realized I had to take that leap and not really care one way or another about what the outcome was, and just kind of surrender to the situation and go for it, because the opposite of it just wasn't doing it for me anymore. Right? It's like you just reach your limit with it, and it's like I have to break free of the especially with my work situation. Just uh, I don't know. I have so many ideas, and the feeling of not being able to get those ideas out was a challenge. And then all these other weird spiraling thoughts of like, okay, so I'm just like unappreciative of my situation, and a lot of people like are looking for work, and what am I even thinking, like that I might leave my job to pursue this risky thing, and just so many ways that I can talk myself out of something that at the end of the day I knew I had to do. So I basically just want to tell you that surf was a huge leap of faith for me, and it's paid off in just way more ways than I could possibly ever imagine and describe. And I was thinking through right when you land on that landing page, actually, there's kind of that quote, which is slightly different than what I originally said, but I had Waging Bull go back and change it just because I didn't like the flow of what I originally said. But basically, it's that I want surf to be a thing that empowers you to make your dreams a reality. And so knowing that, just deciding to take this leap of faith has been so amazing for me. And then I'm getting all this feedback from many of you that it's making you feel the same way. And so I don't know if there's a lot of you that can resonate with anything that I'm saying with this, but I want to be able to help challenge and support you guys that are thinking about taking any sort of leap with what you're doing in your life. I want surf to help you do that stuff. I want it to be like a launch pad for you, however that might need to be. Like it might not be, as a DAP. It could be through something like music or something that I know a lot of the community right now is discussing, kind of cool marketing things and events that we can do along those lines. So what I've done is I've created this channel called Leaps of Faith. And basically, I just want it to be a channel where if you're thinking about taking a leap of faith in any way, uh, I just want it to be a place where you can share that with other people that care about that in our community, which might be a lot. And then if you're someone that has taken that leap and you feel like you have just good insight, whether it's positive or negative, and you want to share that, then that's a place for you to do that as well. And hopefully, we just kind of get a cool dialogue going in there, and we'll better get to know each other and some of the backgrounds of people in the community, which could lead to unbelievable future partnerships and connections and things that we just might not be aware of at all right now. So I was just, thinking through a way that I want surf to actually help. And I don't want that to just be like a quote where it's like, okay, sure, yeah. He just wants surf to, be this thing that helps me. Sure, okay. Uh, so I'm trying to take the steps to actually show everyone that that's actually what I want. Because I can already, just the rewards that I'm getting from this, the positive energy and feedback I'm getting from so many of you is unbelievably inspiring and motivating. And I'm just going to keep chasing that for now because it's awesome. So hopefully that it's just kind of a cool channel where there's a lot of inspiration, there's a lot of good stuff, and hopefully a lot of people finally taking that first leap of faith. And we're just going to be there to help you figure it out and support you and possibly fund you. So uh, I don't know. Hopefully, it's something that a lot of you are excited about, maybe even a little bit nervous about, because there is something that has been on your mind for a long time, and you're like, "Oh, no way, could I do that?" And you just kind of suppress the idea. Like I'm trying to be the little weed in your mind that is gonna force that to the surface, because it's going to be the greatest thing that ever happened to you when you just fully decide to jump in and take that leap. So there's that. Hopefully it wasn't too preachy, but this is some powerful stuff at the end of the day, and the results for me are just obvious, and I'm hearing it from you guys. So at this point, it's like, if this resonates with you at all, then awesome, and I hope to hear more from you. So, questions and answers now. Let's dive right on in. Holy smokes, there's a lot of people in this voice chat. Yes, now you can comment and leaps of faith. I just checked it out real quick. Randall asked. So hopefully, like when I wake up tomorrow, there's some messages in there. Don't make me look dumb, guys. I can't find this. Oh, there it is. AMA questions. Found it. Question number 1 from Gaz Unlimited. When will you stop cucking Europeans? So what he means by this, folks, is, why do I keep releasing all of the juiciest, best information when he's asleep? Like, he thinks that there's this conspiracy that we're just all as a community waiting for him to fall asleep before anything fun can happen, basically. And look, here's the thing, like, he's absolutely 100% correct about that. So his fears are valid, his concerns were valid. He's been getting absolutely played, and I'm sorry about that, Goss. Lord W says, I've seen some FUD against Surf from brainlets who went full pink Wojak after Surf depreciated from the event. These same people probably would have been dumped on by bots or were planning to dump themselves. Can you talk about the event a little bit so people can understand what this did for Surf and the Whirlpool? Sure. I think, honestly, like, in the announcement for the event, I do the breakdown of like what I wanted to happen. And it's kind of unfortunate, I guess, that the chart doesn't even like really show the peak at, I think it was $2.40. Because basically what happened is you have this massive stream of buys coming in that was the actual event. And then you have botters that are in front of this huge buy, and they're buying a bunch of Surf with the plan to basically instantly sell it the moment the purchases that represented the event went through. So that, they would just instantly clear a profit from that. Oh no, I don't know where I was going with that. So yeah, the volume spike. It was massive in that moment, and the price spiked massively in that moment. I think our market cap temporarily was at, I want to say it was like 12 million or something, but it was like literally one trade that it was there, because the very next trade was these bots that were dumping. And then, interestingly enough, there was like someone on the team that had botted it, made a bunch of Ethereum, and then they just purchased Surf and sent it all to the Whirlpool. There was like 180 Ethereum profit. And like, we literally got FUD for that. Like, that was that was our team, like, basically making sure that if someone was going to bot it and win, we were going to sort that out one way or another, and get that Ethereum back to the Whirlpool, which is exactly what happened. But there were just so many people that I think it was like peak farm mania and everything. And people were getting so used to just being in a farm for days or maybe even hours. And the concept of sticking around in something like Surf, despite the developers being transparent about what's going on, and then following through with promises that they made in terms of like actually giving $2+ million back to the community, people didn't really care because they're just so used to sticking around for a couple days or a couple hours. So I kind of just always had in my head that there was really only two possibilities from the event. It was either like the moon of moons, or it was exactly what happened, at which point, in the long run, that would be the course of action that would basically get me personally a bigger stake of everything. But then move beyond just me personally. It's like all of the loyal surfers, all of the people that just understand that simply because we had enough hype at the beginning, we have so much uh, liquidity and so many assets now that are community owned. Like we could just sell them all and just give everyone a straight ETH dividend. I mean, that doesn't actually make sense when a lot of our positions are making us revenue or going to be making us revenue. But people are not recognizing that like our market cap is super tiny, but as a community, we own a bunch of assets, and that number is just going to continue to grow, and it could actually grow at an insane pace. And if people start unstaking, like if there's, think about this, like I'm assuming at this point I'm the largest like LP token holder. And that's because I literally compounded every single day, exactly like I said I was going to, from the moment farming started. I think pretty much through, I think I got up to 10,000 LPs and I just stopped. But I probably should have just kept going in hindsight. But I basically, to do that, I would, all the surf that would come in, I would just sell half my surf, and then I would add liquidity and just keep adding these LPs. And so I was just making more and more surf, and all these other people are fudding the project and saying it's a scam and whatever. And I'm just like, cool, I'm just going to keep buying because I'm just buying. It's like, do I trust myself? Yes or no? Yes. So cool. Like this seems pretty dang undervalued to me. So I kept compounding, and now I have a way larger percentage of like the Whirlpool stake, which to me is like the most important number in this entire ecosystem. Just what percentage of eternal passive income do you own? So I knew I wanted a large chunk of that, and um, it worked out perfectly. Had Surf started mooning like crazy right after the event, that would have been awesome too. And a lot of us would have been way up. But the likelihood that as a community we would be where we are right now seems very slim to me, because too many of us, like too many of the core guys, especially, I would say probably would have made too much money and probably moved on to the next thing. And we would have missed the amazing stuff that's being built together right now. And I think we kind of had to weather, just like going through so many people just misunderstanding what surf is, thinking that it's dead, literally having no knowledge of the fact that the Whirlpool even exists and is paying out rewards. Um, they just don't really understand how comfy a lot of the people that have been around the longest at this point are, because I think they fully recognize the sky's the limit. That's why they're so comfy. So look, I mean, the event put a lot of surf in the Whirlpool, and it rewarded all of that to the people that stuck around and were the most loyal. And I think they're all going to do very well this year. It just feels inevitable, and it's not financial advice or anything. It's just, if you really break down the way all of this works and you just ask yourself, can I be a patient person or not? If you can just say yes to being patient, you're probably going to make a killing with what we're building here. If you can't be patient, I would say avoid this ecosystem like the plague. It's designed to extract from those that are impatient. So once the realization is made there, like we want everyone to participate, we want everyone to take a look, and the goal is to have a DApp for every risk appetite, every knowledge, level of knowledge when it comes to crypto stuff and tokens, and things that are easy to use. Like I really like that the towel is a token that is going to represent a piece of passive income, and just how we can simply say like go stake your towel on the beach, and it'll just be the simple UI, and it's the simple thing, and people are now enabled and can actually earn passive income in a simple way. Like I think a lot of these other DeFi systems right now are too convoluted, and honestly, like Surf is as well right now. There's like we're putting all of these pieces together, but we're going to start really focusing in on individual products that can be marketed to different groups, that can have different levels of exposure to the underlying surf ecosystem. Um, and hopefully over time, we literally have an offering for every single stage of investor, every single stage of programmer, developer. Um, I don't know. There's just so many ways that we can take this thing, and ways that we can keep it decentralized and kind of roll this out. Obviously, the gas fees suck right now. Man, I'm answering a question about the event. This is wild. See, I'm so excited about this stuff right now. My mind is all over the place with it. Um, I mean, there you go. I talked about the event for quite a while in there. Um, it hooked these early people up that stuck around, and it's not in an unfair way. It's basically as fair as it could get, right? Like very few systems have been able to properly reward the people that care about the system the most, so, or these protocols. So we're just seeing them fail all over the place. And if you really start looking at these concepts that we're coming up with Surf, um, like the swell that's on its way, like that. I don't know who else is doing something like the swell, or at least in a way that's like packaged so awesomely. I mean, it's the swell. It's just this decentralized wave of surf rewards. This a faucet that we're going to be able to pay the most valuable content creators in our community, developers in our community, artists in our community, musicians in our community, whoever it is. If we need to get outside promoters on board, we have the funds as a community to do this, and hopefully we're going to nail it with kind of how all the proposals and the governance system will work. But uh, this can basically just be a self-sustaining system. And I'm hoping that you guys are like realizing each new component that's added, we're getting closer and closer to it. And I know it's like a common complaint that like things are just taking too long, but that's just how it's going to be. I would say, like, I take my time with this stuff, all of the decisions. I really try to think through as many edge cases as I can, as far down the line as I can. And there are tough decisions that have to get made all the time, where maybe you don't, you launch something and you don't feel like you necessarily future proofed it as much as you wanted to. And there might be a regret down the line, like, man, I wish I could have had the ability to change that variable through governance or something. Like all of those sorts of decisions, if you want a quality system, someone literally has to sit down and just start thinking through the entire flow. And it takes time, and it takes like a specific kind of time. It's this like super productive time where you have a lot of focus, you're not getting interrupted. That's rare, right? It's rare just in the modern age. And it's even more rare just kind of working with so many different people like I am with Surf right now. There's just always people reaching out and stuff, and that's totally fine. But there's not nearly as many large windows of open time, I guess, to be able to focus on this stuff like there was when I was just building it in September. And I could just kind of come back to you guys and be like, yeah, I'm still working on it. Like, calm down, cut me some slack here. You'll be happy with it. So I would just say, if that doesn't jive with you, like if you like need instant results, if you're like really getting nauseous over watching your buddies, like, and I'm just going to be honest with you, like, get super lucky with some 10, 20, 50, 100x return from some random thing, or they totally forgot that they had money here and they just lucked out with this thing. Like that's going to lead to your destruction. It's going to lead to the destruction of your friends. Maybe not their actual whole life, but their balance, their account balance that they might have. And sure, they can go work some more and put some more money in and try again, and maybe they'll figure it out again. But knowing when to stop is, I think, a really rare talent that, maybe, hopefully, I guess it's something that can be learned over time because you just get so sick of losing or whatever, just people just consistently losing their money, which represents their time, their effort that they're putting into a job they probably don't like. So it doesn't really make a lot of sense. And we're trying to do the exact opposite of that with Surf Finance. We're trying to encourage the exact opposite of that. And I don't know. I personally don't have like a lot of time for trying to like just talk about how long things might take to release. Because I would just say my intention is to make sure that we are releasing, products that are safe to use, are trustless in as many ways as they can be until we can do this transition to governance, and are hopefully like easy to like wrap your head around the code and the overall concept, and it doesn't feel like there's some way that maybe me as a developer or somebody else is trying to manipulate you or extract something from you. If those things aren't valuable to you, like, and you're not willing to be patient, like, it's, I would just say like this ecosystem is not the right fit. You're going to consistently be disappointed. But I personally think those are very valuable things. And before I started building this, and I was primarily just investing in things, um, that's what I was looking for in the teams and projects I was investing in. And the reality is, there's very, very few people that I would say, I actually trust in this space. Like people that come to mind right away are like Mr. Blobby or something, just constantly putting out quality, always taking care of the community in the event of like a bug or something where funds might have been lost. But even that, it's like he really likes creating a lot of the games, which I really enjoyed, but then I just found I didn't really have as much time for them anymore. So there's like that where it's like, man, I love a lot of his stuff, but even his more recent stuff, like with Nuts, or Nut, I still need to sit down and really brainstorm a way to collaborate with him, because that's a really cool protocol too. Um, but yeah, I'm kind of on on a tangent here with this, but I would just say if you don't feel like you're the patient type, either be open minded to being the patient type, or just help yourself and find a better fit, because you're just going to be disappointed. But the more patient you are, the more rewarded you're going to be. And then you're just going to realize, like, oh, wow, this is all I had to do the entire time. So that's the goal. I'm just trying to help you come to that conclusion on your own, because that's what's important. You have to be the one to realize that this just makes sense, and then hopefully also realize that it makes a ton of sense to contribute time and effort to what we're doing, because I can't, just as an individual, truly take us to the heights that we're probably going to end up at. It's going to be a massive community effort, even if it's just in terms of positivity and presence in the chat and onboarding new people as they come in, simply pasting the link to the landing page and helping them out. Like, we have a potential as a community to be meeting up once or more per year at awesome destinations and having a lot of fun together. And I don't know, just think that way. Like, are you being someone that you would want to hang around with at something like a summit that's happening all the time every year or whatever? So uh, I don't know. This community is meant to promote patience, balance, integrity, transparency, love, uh, I don't know, just courage, all of the good stuff, and hopefully not in a sappy, preachy way. It's worth pursuing these things, in my opinion. I'm realizing that it just makes sense. That's what truth is to me at this point. And I know that if I continue to pursue these things, the rewards I'm going to get from it, I don't even honestly like care about the financial rewards specifically, because I'm already feeling like all of the other rewards are completely trumping that for me. Um, and I'm just way more interested in growing those things that are happening. So, um, dude, I couldn't even tell you what question I'm answering right now. I'm just trying to be real with you guys. So Hard Knocks is the next question. This is kind of funny. Congrats on launching the towel and the beach on schedule. Yeah, I kind of missed that, but saved a bunch of people money who might have accidentally claimed. Can you give some more details on how governance proposals, discussions, and voting will work after SurfGov goes live? And then you edited and said, congrats on having the towel and beach ready to launch for protecting the community from exorbitant gas prices by delaying. You're welcome. So I don't know. Let me think here. I'm not actively thinking about governance. I've been actively thinking about this release in like the recent past. I'm trying to think if I've landed on any more decisions I haven't shared yet. One thing that I think is going to be kind of interesting to share right now, I have in my mind that at some point in the not too distant future, the vast majority of our ETH surf liquidity will be on Sushi Swap. There will likely be a Whirlpool upgrade that's going to basically allow us to create like a lever basically for how much liquidity we want on Sushi Swap versus Uniswap. And I think we'll probably keep a very small amount on Uniswap for a reason that I'll explain in a moment. But oh no, see, I started thinking about that reason. That was a bad idea. Oh, see, and now I'm looking at the question, and it's like I don't even know how I'm going to figure out what I was just talking about. Dude, I have so many ideas in my head right now, guys. I'm sorry. I'm losing this one. Okay, I'm just going to keep talking about governance then in the boardwalk, and maybe it'll come to me. No, nothing's coming to me. I'm going to come back to this, Hard Knocks. Okay, Nitroslav, I have a philosophical question. Why surf stackers are linked as subpages of Surf Finance and S3D as an external website? What's the meaning behind this? Is this a secret message? No, but I mean, there's a cool like tech reason. So I mean, like there's front end frameworks now when you're working as a web developer, and one of the most popular, I'm not sure if it is anymore, I haven't paid quite as much attention in the last year, is something called React, which is made by Facebook. It's this open source UI framework. Basically, the goal is to make it easier to like quickly build complex web applications. So the surf.finance website right now is a React application. And so SolDev, put this together, and he can very quickly add new pages, and they can be very complex pages. The Surf 3D, the reason it's external is because it's basically a reskinned version of something that had launched earlier that SolDev had. I think it was actually a Uni version of it, like uni3d.io or something. But so we basically reskinned it for Surf, redid the contract to, work with the Surf token, and then added all the cool surf theme logo and UI on the site. But so because it was already like its own done deal application, and I believe it's also a React application, but it's like already built in its own repo, like its own source code repo. So um, we just launched that on a new subdomain. But the Surf Stacker stuff was original, where we're not just like reskinning some existing project. So we built that as new pages within the existing surf.finance site. And then Waging Bull is working on a really cool dashboard that's going to, have like just a lot of awesome stats that are going to show you your like basically the breakdown of everything that's going on in the ecosystem. And we'll have to figure out like how that'll get integrated. That might be on its own subdomain, since it likely won't be built into this whole React app. It'll be a separate project. But we have a lot of things that are in the works right now that are honestly very exciting. Like most projects just give up by this point, and we are at like peak momentum, at least behind the scenes. I don't even have time to like think about what's happening to the public right now and price and everything. I'm getting close because I know I have some interviews and we have videos and things that are coming out, but I'm very much like in release mode behind the scenes and delegation mode and like signing off on ideas and different things that we're moving forward with. Because once this really gets going, we're trying to just keep it going. And especially the more people that end up staking in the whirlpool, the more like fortified the entire system becomes, because they literally have to directly benefit everyone that stayed if they want to leave the ecosystem, if that's the route they decide to invest. And so I do love that there's all sorts of ways to invest in the ecosystem at this point, and the towels are only going to make this whole thing more interesting. Man, this all came from the question of why is Surf Stacker a subpage in S3D external? That's quite the tangent right there. I'm still not ready for Hard Knocks. I can't remember what I was saying. Alexi says, when do the rewards for the towels start? Do they automatically start when they launch? No, I'm just going to be doing this manually. And just dropping 2,500 surf in from our LPs each day, basically, because it didn't really make sense to like try to automate a bunch of that out. It's not really that big of a deal. Someone would still have to call those functions anyways, and it's just going to be a temporary thing. Steen says, great project. It's been doing well since first launch, but one thing I don't see is real world applications. Is there any plans to bring real world applications to fruition? There are, but like honestly, there's no immediate plans because primarily there's tons of regulatory uncertainty globally, basically. I don't really know what that would look like right now. But the idea of being able to do it sounds awesome, and that's ideal. I just don't have anything in mind right now. No matter what, there's some human element which is just not what we're looking for as a community. It doesn't make sense to scale that way right now. We need to scale trustlessly and use the decentralized protocols that are out there. And over time, if as a community, it's like every 50 Ethereum or something that we're raising just from like the unstaking fee from the whirlpool, it gets invested into some new protocol that has some recurring revenue stream. If we have enough of these sources of income coming in, it really won't matter if any of the individual ones rug or just go belly up for whatever reason. We're protected through all of the other streams. So the last thing I would want to do is like have a ton of efficiency in using these decentralized protocols, getting great returns from them. And, that's all going smooth. And then we have these projects that require human involvement, basically, and trust in a way that might be extremely hard to, uh, I don't know, wisely do. To wisely trust in a situation like that, and it just might be worth, or it might be a lot more effort than I think it's worth, especially just where with this tech is going. And I would rather be a part of this solution. So, I mean, I think about stuff like potential ad networks and things, and how I would approach architecting those. And I mean, just the number of ideas Soldev already has completed is crazy. And I'm talking to him about different things. So I don't know, guys. The sky is the limit with some of that stuff. And we'll see. But in general, I want to keep it decentralized. I want to keep it trustless. I want to keep it automated. I want to keep it in control of the gov holders, um, as often as we can. So that's likely the approach you're going to see play out. Randall says, thanks, Proof. Can you address the utility question? For those that would peg Surf as just another Ponzi, only gaining value from attracting new buyers, ETH to benefit existing holders. Why is Surf different? How is that demonstrated in structure and action? Well, I would imagine that some of my tangents tonight have helped answer some of this, but um, the reality is, if you just kind of look at what originally happened, um, there was a number of people during the very first initial farming phase when the entire supply, all 10 million tokens, was fairly distributed to people that were staking LP tokens, from over 20 different token pairs that we were accepting. There was not some like 15% goes to the team or 15% goes to marketing or anything like that. It was literally all 100% of the supply went to people that were supplying liquidity for one of these pairs and staking it on our site. So when that happened, there was actually a staking fee that you had to pay. It was 10% when you first got in. So you needed to basically stick around for, I want to say it was like 6 or 7 days, and you would have the entire fee back. Maybe it was a lot less. I might be thinking about that wrong. But it wasn't long. Like, you had to be one of the most impatient people ever to not make money off Surf Finance during that initial period. And strangely enough, there were a number of people that like came into the chat and basically um, were like, man, this isn't going up as quickly as I thought it would. Like, this is some scam garbage coin. I'm out. And because they were mad that like they were only making 5,000% APY. It's like, what are you even talking about? And then you find out the numbers that some of these people literally gave to the rest of the surf community by bailing as quickly as they did. I mean, it was thousands and thousands of dollars that like someone would come and invest $50,000. They paid a $5,000 fee to stake, and they unstaked within 3 hours. It's like, did you not know exactly what was going on? I mean, like, it was all over the UI that there was these fees, and they were like, no, they knew there was a fee. They just didn't feel like the number was going up as quickly as they wanted. And so just by that happening, we instantly had this pool that was controlled by the community. Well, it was controlled by the developers, right, with this multi-sig contract. But at the end of the day, it's developers with integrity, and we've told you that it's the communities, and that's exactly how we've operated, right? With all of it, we're making investments for the community, and there's not even like fees or anything like that. Where I'm just all of it, like gas and stuff, will get covered, but there's all of it is going to community investments, not to me, not to other devs or anything like that. So there instantly was this pool of money that was basically controlled by the community or owned by the community. And it just kept getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And now that exists, the reality is if a bunch of people just started unstaking from the whirlpool and selling, like, yeah, it would impact the surf price, but the unstaking fee is so high now that every single unstake and sale is basically going to directly benefit us one way or another. So if you just stick around, the amount that will be left over for all the people that stick around the longest, like I'm basically saying in a situation where there's literally no more development, like no one cares about surf finance anymore. It's just a battle of who literally can hodl the longest. The entire point of this is if you are the one that can hodl the longest, there will be hundreds of thousands of dollars left over for you, just based on the nature of the unstaking fee and the whirlpool, because of your percentage ownership of the whirlpool is increasing every single time someone is backing out, which means you're getting more and more of the dividends that are then coming in and more of the unstake fees that take place from other people unstaking. So at its core, we really don't have to do that much else for there to be some big winners that are just the patient ones that stuck around. But if you realize that that exists at the at the center of this entire ecosystem, there's just this foundation, right? There's basically a price floor, there's a liquidity floor, there's um there's just these protections that are honestly unbelievably attractive, especially to larger investors. And they just have no clue that we even exist right now. And once they see that we have a lot of liquidity, that we have a price floor, a liquidity floor, and all of these mechanisms to basically ensure that there's continued activity, it's a no-brainer play. So hopefully that helps answer kind of some of the utility question, because honestly, it doesn't need to go much further than that. Like we could all bail and there could just be a battle of hodlers. And the more patient you are, the more you're going to make. And the amount left over for the final few will be staggering. That's just how things have been designed. But simply because we're going to continue building and there's a lot of great stuff and innovation that we have ready, um, it really just feels like the sky is the limit, knowing that we have such a solid foundation. So yeah, I mean, it can't be another Ponzi at this point. Like I don't know. There's just too many mechanisms now that it it's just positive sum all over the place. It just, how long are you willing to wait for these things? But that is only going to get easier and easier to calculate as we get more data, like the stuff Yostari is putting in his channel, the stuff that Waging Bull is going to be showing on his dashboard. It's going to make it easy to start calculating like where's the best play in the ecosystem right now, where are the ARB opportunities, and there will be a lot of people competing for these things because everyone likes free money for clicking buttons. So it's just going to work if you think about it. I don't see how it can't. It's just the way that it can't is by potentially rushing into um, just dangerous situations, or getting a little bit too experimental with certain ideas or whatever. So that's where I'm always going to be coming from, a place of caution and patience and making sure we don't mess this up, because uh, if we just execute, it's gonna be insane. I think what is really going to start happening when all of our systems are firing at 100%, which we haven't even seen that. We're not even close to that. We hardly have any volume. We hardly have 1,000 people. Um, I don't know. It's just kind of crazy. Like we're gonna get 6 times the number of surf holders just over the course of this towel airdrop, or 5 times, with the stuff that we're given to the sushi community. So I don't know. Like you think that they're not going to know people, or at least 5 of them or 20 of them are going to be impressed. So um, yeah, it's going to be exciting. Shendel is saying, has there been any determination made yet on the initial value and number of governance tokens for donating the LPs, boards, leviathans, etc.? Or will the value be determined by the sum of the donations? And will they be deflationary, inflationary, or a set amount? I have like rough values in my head. Everything is basically going to be based off of the price of LP tokens against um, Ethereum. So, for example, like right now, I have in my head that the surfboards are going to be worth roughly double their current market price of about 5 Ethereum. So they'll be worth about 10 Ethereum to trade in. And it's not literally like you're getting 10 Ethereum worth of Surf Gov. You're getting it's the equivalent of turning in 10 Ethereum worth of LP tokens. So that's going to give you one Surf Gov per LP token. And so if you turn in a surfboard, however many LP tokens 10 Ethereum would have been worth at that time is how many Surf Gov tokens you'll be getting. Leviathans, I kind of have the same idea in mind that the trade-in value will be about double the market price around the day or whatever that the swell is going live. And then I do think I will allow like surf donations and S3D donations and stuff. And it might just be like a one-off thing. And there might be like a huge bonus or something for doing that. And we would, probably just redirect that through other apps like Stacker or Restacker, and just kind of support other ecosystem dApps. I don't think I have too many other specifics I feel comfortable sharing yet, just because I think sometimes if I share just some of my variables or whatever, the things that I have in mind, but I know I'm not even close to like being 100% on, it's just kind of a placeholder in my mind that feels okay for now. I think it might confuse some of you. I would say in general, like if you're looking for information that's official, like just go to an announcement. If it seems like I've said something in the past about the towel, but the announcement isn't covering it, it probably means that it's fully changed. Like ignore what I said in the past. Just pay attention to the announcement. And then when there's changes, I'll try to point those out again in a follow-up announcement, the way that I did earlier. So yeah, this is just kind of a side note thing. And so you asked if SurfGov will be deflationary, inflationary, or set amount. I mean, they're technically inflationary because there's no set limit. You're going to just always be able to trade in LP tokens to get SurfGov. But the underlying idea is that you have to benefit the Surf ecosystem to get the SurfGov. So it should always be this positive feedback loop with that. So it's okay that, they're inflationary. And I totally remember what I forgot earlier. Okay. Because this is perfect. This ties into this. So what I was thinking is when we transition most of our liquidity to sushi, I believe we will start earning sushi rewards for supplying, millions of dollars worth of liquidity on their platform. So if this upgraded whirlpool is earning sushi, it will be able to, that's just more assets for us as a community, right? So what I'm thinking right now is we'll do the golden ratio split. 61.8% would go proportionally to everyone staked in the whirlpool. So if you're staked in the whirlpool, the idea would be that you are earning surf and sushi. I think the value of the surf rewards would likely be a lot higher. I don't expect the sushi rewards to be massive for the community, but it could be enough to just like be this thing that's covering gas, and it's extra, right? Like we're not earning that at all right now. So it's a pretty cool thing. And I think if you just look at some of the stuff sushi has going on, even with how crazy their run has been recently, they still have plenty of room to grow. And they're attracting the right names. And I just think that they have the innovation there. So that could be a very, very valuable decision for us to make as a community and as an investment. But then I was also thinking that, so the other half of the golden ratio split, the 38.2%, of the sushi would actually go to SurfGov holders that are staked on the boardwalk. And that's how you'll be able to participate in proposals. And I do think that this will probably be a layer two solution, because we want people to be very active in this governance process, especially the SurfGov holders. Um, so I think it could probably be on something like XDAI. At least that's kind of where my head's at with it. Just because I don't want some situation where we can't even change variables that are super important for the protocol and to maintain its integrity and overall health, and we don't want to do it because the gas fees are just insane. So I got to figure out if there's a clean way to be able to have that governance contract on a layer two. But I think if we can pull it off, it makes a lot of sense and will actually get a lot of use, especially if we can reward the people that are staked there and voting with sushi. And I think that would be another part of it, is staying active, to earn, maybe that sushi, you have to participate in a certain percentage of the votes that are taking place or something. There's a lot of fun things to think about with that. And I'm really not doing much thinking about it right now. That's just the reality of the situation. There's a lot of other things I have to prioritize first. So yeah, that was a bit about SurfGov. Crypto Mermaid says, can we have some more information on timeline of when we can donate board towels to the swell, please? I don't want to give any dates or anything, but I would say the order of operations coming up here is we're releasing ETH Poly, we're releasing Surfstacker Lite, Restacker, ETH Poly, which is feeding into those, and then the swell, and then I think the Whirlpool upgrade and this kind of liquidity migration to sushi, and so that we as a community can start earning these sushi rewards, because technically it's just being left on the table right now. I think it makes sense to just move the liquidity there to start earning that just extra money that's available to us. So hopefully not too long. CT636 says, how are you? I'm doing really, really well right now, which is awesome. So thank you for asking, and thank you for all of your awesome work you've been doing. You're a rock star, man. 2 says, hi, Proof. I won't be able to be here for the AMA, but I do have a recording set up for the community and my own rewatching pleasure. Nice. My question is this. You spent some time during the last AMA talking about how you'd like to woo Sushi Swap, and it's been an idea the community, from what I can tell, has taken a deep interest in. What is the current public stance of the Surf Finance core development team on moving to sushi, and what, if any, progress have we been able to make in the wooing process? I apologize if this was covered or asked already, and I hope that you have a wonderful day, night. Shaka. That's a standout question right there, man. So I would say, like, at a high level, we're bullish on Sushi Swap. So the plan is to like migrate over there, start earning the sushi rewards, regardless of any sort of official collaboration or partnership or whatever with them, because it just makes sense. So in terms of like wooing or whatever, we have some really interesting things that we've actually kind of gotten positive feedback from their team for. So we'll see. I just think there's we're kind of waiting to hear back on a couple things, and overall I think that the vibe is good, and everyone recognizes like we're trying to make quality stuff. So I think it would be awesome if any sort of official collaboration came from this, but I think either way, we've already taken major steps to work towards their ecosystem. and we're only offering the towels to them outside of our community. So I hope that goes a long way with both their team and their community, and just show them that, we're on the same page with them. So we'll see. Hopefully there's more to share with you guys on that over the coming days here. Jewish Hebrew says, "Hey there, little man. Cute project you and your friends got going on here. Glad to see you finally made it through a stream without crying about your failed voice acting career. Anyway, you little shrimp, I guess my question is, could you talk a little bit more about the decentralized hedge fund aspect of things? I'm aware Surf owns part of an Indian casino, but I was wondering if you could touch on the mechanisms involving this aspect of the project and how the community decides what to invest in. I'm really hoping I'm not wasting my time when I could be investing in a more legitimate project like BAO or Dogecoin." Nice. Yeah. I mean, you got a lot of upvotes, man. You're going to get a towel for that question. Good for you. So what's the question here? There's a lot of nonsense in there. I guess my question is, could you talk a little bit more about the decentralized hedge fund aspect of things? Yeah. So the idea is to trustlessly be able to invest through things like the Harpoon, things like there's a custom contract that I'm putting together for our Bet Galaxy investment that with the Utopia tokens, where it'll be a contract that Atlantis Core can call, so that we can basically decide what to do with that Ethereum that's coming back from the casino to us for our token. So the plan will always be to work towards having fully trustless mechanisms that are moving money throughout our ecosystem in a way that can't be gamed or exploited. A big part of that is going to be linking into something like the MPH stablecoin system, which so like look, our the Whirlpool and staking fee right now it's going to be at 25%, basically as soon as like the gas fully settles down. Oh, I guess it looks like it is. So yeah, I think we're waiting on one more signer for that fee to get bumped, but if not, it'll go through, I think, in like 14 hours or something. So if you think like 25% of that exit fee, 5% right now is going to all of the remaining stakers in the Whirlpool, and then the other 20% was going to this, community locked liquidity. So I would imagine that something like 10%, so half of that remainder, will automatically just be invested in something like the MPH stablecoin system. That with the goal of minimizing impermanent loss, it's just a low risk play. Probably the gains and overall rewards might not be as high as investing in like the hottest thing all the time and never getting that wrong. But just as a steady gainer that is basically ensuring the longevity of our ecosystem, that could be huge. And that could be this automated thing that's part of the new Whirlpool, is we can allocate a percentage of the unstaking fee to an automatic buy into a stable system like that. So I don't know. Once you start thinking through those things, at least my mind starts going crazy in a good way, just thinking through all the possibilities. It gets me really excited. I hope you can kind of, at least just understand what I'm saying with that. And that I think you're just trolling hard here, which is great because I internally chuckled. You didn't hear it, but there was something happened. I at least thought about chuckling. I might have typed LOL had I been typing. So top 3 brands of tendies. I don't know. The only ones I guess I've liked so far are the Purdue ones. I got to avoid the Tyson ones now. I'm just not a good experience, guys. Should we have left the European Union proof? Yeah, I would say probably. It seems to me like the bureaucracy was expanding to meet the needs of the expanding bureaucracy, which I'm not really a fan of. Ray or Asuka or Masato. Honestly, I would say I'm like not equipped to answer that question. I'll just say Asuka because we have an awesome mod, Asuka. When will Bet Galaxy launch? I don't know, man. You ask them. I think it's soon. I heard it'll be this month. I know they're adding a bunch of tokens and stuff, so it'll be a big launch. It'll be a fun one. Bugbear says, as far as investing in this project, are towels or LP tokens a better investment? Quick pros and cons of each, ROI comparison of the two. I can't really answer this, man. It's the market is going to have to decide. We're basically setting the system up with a massive arbitrage opportunity, and for people to exploit that not in like a bad way, but just take advantage of that, they're going to have to pay to unstake, which is going to go to benefiting us in the long run. So we're going to get this equilibrium, I think, pretty quickly, but I just don't know exactly how that's going to shake out. And we need to see how much gets donated to the swell. I do think it will be hard coded in the swell that 35% of everything that moves through the swell goes to the beach. I'm not sure that needs to be or should be a variable that can be controlled through governance. Just because I think there has to be some sort of guarantee for people that have purchased towels or minted towels, have towels staked on the beach, that the governance holders can't just like wipe out all of their passive income coming in. That goes against what the point of towels is. So I do think it'll probably be hard coded 35%, but we don't know how much that's actually going to represent in terms of surf rewards, because we don't know what the price of surf might be at the time. We don't know how much is going to get donated to the swell and what the 35% of is actually coming from. But we're going to know all of that stuff pretty dang quickly after that launches. So it'll be really cool to see. And I think stuff like, Waging Bull's dashboard will probably help figure out kind of the best approach. Like, hey, if I have 10 Ethereum, do I go throw down on a bunch of towels, or do I go just go sit in the whirlpool? But what's cool about the towel situation for minting is it could be the best play to just go buy 10 Ethereum worth of surf and then go mint yourself however many towels that would get you with all of that surf or Ethereum. The beach contract will allow you to send Ethereum or surf, but the end result has to equal 0.1 Ethereum worth of value. But we should have a much better idea of which one is the better play. And if you think about it, if there's a clear difference in terms of the return, or one of them is obviously a better play, then that's an arbitrage opportunity, and I would expect that gap to be closed and the market to find that equilibrium. So the key thing is we're trying to just make sure that every future product can benefit all existing products, either through the price of surf increasing or the supply of surf decreasing or more rewards moving through certain dApps. It just basically means that I don't know if you guys have ever seen those videos of people like making those massive rubber band balls. Or no, what do they do? I think they put it around a watermelon, and they just keep putting rubber bands around it. And the pressure from all of these rubber bands ends up just becoming so strong that it just crushes the watermelon. And we're basically going to do that, but in a positive, non-destructive way. We're going to have like all of these rubber bands that represent like arbitrage opportunities. And the harder we pull them, the juicier the arbitrage opportunity, the more people that are going to be interested in closing that opportunity and pocketing the difference. And potentially making a crazy living out of that just from like an Arbot or something, which I have, a bunch of crypto buddies that are doing exactly that. So um, we're going to have to just kind of see how all that shakes out. But I think it's going to be an exciting situation because having a bunch of surf locked up to mint towels is going to be great for the surf ecosystem. Having towels moon in value is going to be fantastic for the surf ecosystem because the community owns 3,820, I think. So that we're going to be able to say that, like, let's just say the market cap of towels goes to like 10 million. And as a community, we own like 10, 15, or 20% of all those towels. That means we have an extra couple $1,000,000 just added to our assets under management, which when you look at a market cap right now of 6 million, it's like, how does that even compute? I mean, we could just basically take these funds and just do a one-time dividend for everybody and they would get a 50% return or whatever. I mean, it's just kind of crazy that we're so undervalued right now. Here I am on this other tangent. Let's see. I'm going to try to find the next question before I just get too lost. Oh yeah, that was the towels and LP tokens. So yeah, we'll just have to wait and see on what ends up being better. Waging Bull says, how does it feel to be here on February 14th with the 100-day whirlpool phase completed? And what are you most looking forward to in the next phase? Man, it feels really good to be here. It's crazy that we're here and that like the momentum is building and that, that period worked out exactly how I was hoping. And we built this core community that for this period of time got to earn a disproportional amount of surf rewards for basically sticking it out. And hopefully it's empowered and enabled a bunch of people to want to stick around as we have a lot of newcomers pouring in over the coming days and weeks. So I don't know. It's together as a community that we're going to really excel, and I think it's pretty obvious at this point. So yeah, to be here 100 days after the whirlpool started with you guys is probably like it's awesome. And when you ask like what are you most looking forward to, it's just that it's figuring out what all of these new relationships and collaborations and partnerships are going to lead to, just in personal growth for me, personal growth for you guys, and hopefully growth in the pursuit of financial freedom. And the underlying goal being, if you're not currently pursuing exactly what you think you want to pursue, it doesn't necessarily have to be with your whole life, but right now, if there's something really calling you and you're not doing that, we got to figure out how to get you there. So that's what I'm excited about. How many people over the coming months and years are going to like find their their purpose, tap into their true potential, and surf can be the thing that enables them to do that because they were patient, they were smart, and they got that daily passive income without having to think. Like that's what's exciting to me. And I just think we're definitely on the right track for that. Alexi says, do you like towels? I like towels. React to this message with the boost if you like towels. Alexi, you are disqualified. That's like it's like paying for votes, man. You can't just go out there and beg for votes. Z Gambit says, can you tell us how each contribution to the swell breaks down, like how much SurfGov each get? I think I covered that. It's all going to break down to the LP value. One LP token is going to equal one SurfGov token, and all of the other tokens, we're just going to look at their market price the day of and then compare it to the market price of the LP tokens to determine what they should get for trading that in at the time. It should just be a fair trade in kind of across the board, except for the NFTs. I'm trying to intentionally shake up the NFT market a bit and, see what happens if we make the surfboards, just presenting an opportunity to people like, hey, do you want to get more value than the market is currently saying, or trade in value at least, and take this longer term bet on SurfGov? It'll be really interesting to see which one ends up being the better investment. I don't know. I kind of go back and forth with it because I could just see the surfboards. Who knows if like more than half of the surfboards or something get donated to the swell, the value of the remaining ones could skyrocket. So it'll be interesting. And the same thing with Leviathans. I'm just interested to see how this is all going to shake out. I just want to make it spicy. I want to make it fun and create all these cool ARB opportunities. Do you run your own Ethereum archive node or do you pay for one? I used to have one I was running, but I'm assuming you're like asking for like the snapshot stuff. I think that we've been paying for like the Etherscan API or something. Actually, I asked Soldev this, and he answered. I'm just not really remembering. I don't think it was a full blown node that we had set up though. I think we're going through a service. JMO says, what kind of Minecraft server should I run for us? I don't know, man. It's been a long time since I've played Minecraft. I do love the game, though. I just don't know what kind of Minecraft server even means at this point. I don't know what's available. Randall says, Proof, would you lock all your tokens into this structure permanently? Burn your ships, a history lesson about how to be a great leader. Let me take a look through that after all of this, and I'll try to give a response to the community in general when I go through that and see. Looks interesting though. Tide Rider, ask Toxic when build for Surf. Toxic is a legendary developer for anybody unaware. Is he still in? He is still in here. Nice. I'm gonna surf pill you, Toxic. Oh man, that would probably blow my mind if we could get Talk to do anything, any little side project, man, whatever you want to do. We'll blast your work in front of everybody. Whiskey says, Proof, what does success mean to you and why? This seems to be like a ever-changing answer, though. I mean, I have a more solid answer for it in my recent history, but throughout my lifetime, it has definitely changed. But I would say at this point, success is, I think, contentment and appreciation for what I have, and wanting to utilize my time to help others pursue their dreams and achieve the things they're trying to achieve. I want to enable people in a positive way, not in a kind of more negative, like, the way that we've used the term enable negatively through like codependency or something. I want it to be a positive form of enablement. And if I don't know, I feel like I'll feel like the most successful guy in the world if basically what's been happening continues to happen, which is just person after person reaching out to me saying, what you're building here is awesome. The community is awesome. The vibe is awesome. I can't wait to contribute and be a part of this. Like, you're making me like so excited about something for the first time in a long time. It's really hard to hear stuff like that and not feel really good about what's going on and frankly just successful. I mean, that's, to me, it's the whole point of this. So yeah, hopefully that answers your question. Tide Rider Purdue tendies every night. Yeah, I just don't have any right now. And 40 showed me this tendies package from Sam's Club, which I'm gonna have to check out the next time I buy one of those. Jewish Hebrew says, genuinely interesting info there, friend. Thanks for the answer and thank you for the towel. Never selling. Nice. That's probably a smart play. Tide Rider asks, could the ETH received from minting towels be used in a stablecoin farm like MPH? Yeah. So, well, it's that golden ratio split. So 61.8% will go to an external contract. The way that we have it set up right now is that the ETH is used to buy Surf, and then that Surf gets moved around somewhere else. And in general, I I think I want to just stick to that system because it ensures that we have constant buying pressure. And I know that getting into a stable farm like MPH will do the same, but I don't know. I think a lot of that is just going to end up coming from the whirlpool and staking fees. I think for the other stuff in the ecosystem, it'll probably just be Surf purchases, and then we're moving that Surf around within the ecosystem. The unstaking fees are what are going to fuel our kind of investment growth as a community. And all of that is going to be up to the community to decide in the long run once we're using the boardwalk, which is totally fine. Um, so we'll have to see. I mean, we could come up with a system where we're going to take a 2% transfer fee and 1%, or half of it is going to like an investment fund, and half of it where we literally might be selling that Surf on the market. And maybe it'll be fine because I would suspect that over time we're just going to have a larger and larger liquidity pool. So it won't even be a big deal. Like we could possibly sell $1 million worth of Surf into our own liquidity. It might have some price impact, but if we have enough liquidity, it doesn't even need to be that big of a deal. And then all of a sudden, hey, we got $1 million worth of Ethereum that we can go invest in other protocols. Like that's pretty powerful. So that's why at the end of the day, I knew we needed a system that encouraged uh, a lot of liquidity, and we have it. And I think it's perplexing to people that we have so much liquidity, which is awesome because it means it worked. Uh, I'm not answering that, Squirtle. Jitters says proof. Tide Rider told me to send him photos of my feet for an ETH payment from his wallet. I send him 10 photos and have yet to receive my ETH. Can you follow this up, please? No. That sounds like something you guys need to sort out on your own, children. Whiskey says, given that a growing community doesn't grow the locked liquidity, do you have plans to grow the liquidity pool significantly outside of the whirlpool, assuming the world is on board? Positive growth doesn't fuel the investment floor, right? I don't know. I don't know that I agree with that. I mean, I think there's always like going to be a number that someone will want to unstake at because they just feel like their return is so massive or whatever, or they're tired of waiting or whatever it might be. There's always going to be impatient people that are unstaking. So I think that there's just going to be it's literally going to be like a wave, right? We're going to ride this wave together. The whirlpool LPs are going to constantly be going up and down. The price is constantly going up and down. Volume is constantly going up and down. And we're just trying to ensure that through all of that, the underlying whirlpool stakers are getting rewarded. And I think just with the general bullishness of crypto and these DeFi platforms right now, even if there's some sort of downtrend in the near future, I still think that over time, these protocols that are kind of paying out like a lot of dividends over time, and they seem to have sound systems, they'll make it through any major dumps. And that could just end up putting a lot of Ethereum into the community's pocket so that the next time Ethereum goes on a crazy run, our assets under management can be massive. Lieutenant Sim, what if our community continues to have iron hands and unstakes reduce? Will the fees from transferring be enough to keep things flowing in general? Well, the entire point is that if it's not enough, then someone will unstake. So the market just sorts it out naturally, and we're gonna have these ebbs and flows and waves that we're riding. Um, but it just, I don't know, like the rewards are people on the outside. Um, when they see how consistent like if the passive income isn't consistent, then no one's going to want to stay staked. So then you have people unstaking. As people unstake, we now have money to invest as a community, which can be invested into another platform that brings revenue into our system, which means it's kickstarting it. So someone bailing on the project can kickstart uh, basically a new stream of revenue for us. And the moment that that happens, people that have been on the outside going, man, I'm looking for passive income, but look at Surf. It's not even, there's no activity, nothing's going on there. Once they see that there's these investments being made and then there's this money rolling in, then they decide to get into the whirlpool because they want their cut of passive income. If things get stagnant again, then people aren't going to like that. Some of them are going to decide to unstake, and then the cycle repeats itself. So it's just kind of ensured that like Surf is going to work to these extremes one way or another, but then it's going to bounce off of those extremes. And we want that because that's how we get maximum volume and activity. And at the end of the day, volatility is a money maker for people in the whirlpool. And I just think it'll be interesting when right now we have about 1,000 people. Sure, things can stagnate, but things will really start feeling alive when there's literally a Uniswap or Sushi Swap trade going through um, all the time, multiple times a minute, like some of these other big coins have. And when you really see what that does to the Surf moving through the ecosystem, to me, it just seems very, very unlikely that we can even reach the point of stagnation once we really get these major efforts like the towel drop out. Randall says, when are we officially done with the first 100 days now? I believe so. I don't know for sure. I haven't looked at that variable and everything. Whiskey says, let's assume a 100% stagnant community that never unstakes as an edge case, endless holders. What fun ideas come to mind to kickstart the wave? I mean, probably just making some side project, and you say that only people staking in the whirlpool can participate or something like that. So you just kind of force people to move into the dead system one way or another. You're welcome, Randall. You're welcome, Lieutenant Sim. Sire Kahuna says, when do you know you're emotionally mature enough for a relationship? Also, where should someone place new LPs post whirlpool bonus? New LPs, you still would just want them in the whirlpool. I mean, your only other option is not in the whirlpool, and it's missing out on a ton of rewards. So unless you're saying, what would you chop those LPs up into, should you change that investment? I don't know. I don't even really want to give advice on that. There's other smart guys in the community that I think are paying more attention to min maxing. I'm doing the opposite. I give a lot of Surf and stuff away. I'm not I really don't know. I'm not thinking strategy personally in that way. I just have the vast majority of my holdings as LP tokens in the whirlpool, and I will likely continue to just move my Surf around into the other dApps and stuff that look interesting. Oh, okay. But yeah, when do you know you're emotionally mature enough for a relationship? Oh man, I don't know. When you feel like you can still appreciate that other person when they are not happy with you at all and maybe visibly upset with you. If you can get through that and still love and appreciate them, you might be close. Tom says Whirlpool rewards will be on hold now, more or less, I guess, until new dApps are launched, as other dApps are quite silent. No, I completely disagree with that. The largest Whirlpool rewards are just the daily or maybe moving forward, it'll just be the daily volume. I think what you have to recognize that there's been almost 21,000 surf getting distributed to everyone in the Whirlpool each day, and a lot of that has been sold. A lot of that has basically man, I don't even really know where I'm going with this. Basically, I'm expecting the price to just naturally rise because we've taken away this it's like 21,000 new surf just being dropped into the laps of a lot of these people that maybe actually are tapping into that for passive income right now. I'm not, because surf is just way too undervalued. I would be selling the investment way too short, in my opinion. But that's a thing. Other people have been selling half of the surf they're earning to compound, which is a very smart play at the end of the day, but it does apply sell pressure. So when that much extra surf was just being dropped into all the Whirlpool stakers laps every day, if you just go back and look at the charts, like, you can literally see how this played out. A lot of that surf was being sold. It caused this very gradual and obvious downtrend. And then there'd be like some new person that's like, wow, I can get passive income here. This is amazing. And there'd be like a little pop in the price. And then this gradual downtrend from all of our compounders. That can't really happen anymore, at least with that extra 21,000 surf that was going out. So I see this as a very good bullish thing moving forward, that there isn't 21,000 extra surf each day for these people to sell. And by removing that sell pressure, it just seems like a price increase is a natural thing that's going to come from that. And these other dApps are like right around the corner. This is just one of those things where, again, it's about patience, and it's all going to come together. And I mean, just think about how much better the situation felt once we got this like 100% pop up to 60 cents. Just happened in a day. And we have a whole bunch of stuff that's coming out, and a lot of creativity and momentum within the community that I just kind of feel like it's just right around the corner. Just hang on, or don't. It's just, you're not going to be happy if you don't, though. And I'm just being as honest as I can about that. Randall says, okay, Proof, would you lock all your tokens into this structure permanently, and assuming all major holders would join you in that? Possibly. Once I understand exactly what the structure is and can read through it, I'll let you guys know. So no, Tom BTC is not my alter ego. He is Tom BTC, and he's going to make it because of his surf stack. All right, no one's posted in the Leaps of Faith channel yet. If no one has posted by the time I wake up tomorrow, I'm going to delete it. I'm going to find the AMA or Surfcast clip. I'm going to find where I talk about it. I'm going to just scrub it from existence and pretend it was all a dream. So hopefully there will be some use, because gosh, Alexi. But yeah, I would expect some of the early brave ones to say something to be rewarded in some fashion. So might be worth doing. Just don't be lazy about it. Blaudrad says, I see that DAP Surf Stacker light already on the website. When is it happening? I don't have a date for you yet, but at least you can just kind of see what's going on with the UI there. It's ready. It's just coordinating, and there is an actual order of operations that has to be followed from a technical standpoint. Like certain contracts have to exist before other contracts can exist. And so there's, just things have to be deployed in the right order. So I just can't give you an exact date yet, but it's soon. There's a chance that we will like hide the original Surf Stacker from, because I think it'll just make sense for like the newer people to just go into light, because we're still making sure that original Surf Stacker line is going to get taken care of. But yeah, I kind of agree that probably will be a little bit confusing if there's like two very similar things. So I think in my head, I just like that idea of transitioning to light once we've fully worked through the line on the original. But even still, like new people should be directed to the whirlpool first and foremost. Someone coming in right away and trying to learn about everything and thinking that the best first step is to like get into S3D or Stacker or something just doesn't really make sense. They need to, they don't have to get invested in the whirlpool, but they need to know that everything is structured to reward the whirlpool at the end of the day, because we know the importance of having a lot of liquidity, and we need to make sure we are rewarding those liquidity providers, and everything else just falls into place from there. Oh, the new DApp's not working. I mean, yeah, it's easy to remove. I can just put coming soon or something on it. Okay. I think I made it through all these questions. I don't know what's been going on in general. I'm sure it's shenanigans. I think I worked through everything I wanted to work through. I'm like good to go if people have more questions. But also I could like figure out what's going on with my belly, my hunger situation. Randall says, when can we talk about psychedelics? Hopefully pretty soon. Lots of probably a lot of content there, a lot of interesting stuff to talk about. Okay. I think it probably makes sense to call it. I know it's getting late for many people. All right, Jitters, I'm going to let you be the last question. Jitters is saying, proof I have a question. I say 90% chance it's facetious. Do you think CAG is a good dude? Yes. And CAG's mom is awesome. She's looking into blockchain stuff, I hear. And seems to be like a mega troll. I mean, there's nothing cooler than hearing that someone in our community has a mom that's a programmer that's looking into blockchain stuff. That's like music to my ears. No, I cannot be your stepdad. I just think that's awesome, because this is really, really cool stuff. And I don't think it needs to be like just for guys, you know? And the reality is, we don't want it to be that way. Like we're going to have to educate the general public on how these systems work, how to use them, how to interface with them, and it doesn't make sense to, I don't know, like how is this going to work if it's just a bunch of guys that are doing this? We need to make sure that everyone is being considered as, especially as like the UI UX element, not so much the contract side of things. I think there's always going to be really complex things that just need to be abstracted away for the general public. But I think definitely moving forward when it comes to like UI stuff, we need to be including everyone, every age, every group in how this stuff works, because we just want people using the tech one way or another. That's how everyone else who's already in it is going to, you know, really just get these crazy returns and stuff they want. You just be an early adopter of a tech that gets massive use. Okay, so AMA questions has devolved into shenanigans, and that'll probably end the AMA there. So this was a fun one, guys. Hope it was informative. Lots of stuff is coming very soon, and man, if you don't have the bag that you want right now, you better sort that out quick. That's not financial advice. That's just, I'm trying to be your friend. So thanks, guys. This was Surfcast number 3. We will try to plan another one in the next week or two. It might just be like a week because we're going to have releases. So there's things happening and I'll want to keep you guys up to speed on what's going on. So thank you for joining. I'll still probably like be around online and hanging out with you guys in general and stuff. So if you want to hang out in this channel and talk and stuff, I'll try to fix permissions and things so that's possible. But otherwise, you guys are awesome. Have a good morning, afternoon, evening, depending on where you're at, and be excited for what's coming because it's going to be a lot of fun. All right, guys. Have a good one.